Hey folks, in this video I'm going to cover dividend investing. And I know there can be a lot of confusing lingo when it comes to the finances and in the investing world, so I'm going to try and answer a few of the questions you may have, as well as keep this as concise as possible. So the first question is, what are dividend stocks? Generally, dividend-paying companies are solid and established companies that have been around for a while that kind of want to say a thank you to the shareholders for investing and supporting them. They pay a dividend, which is usually a small percent of the overall cost of the stock each quarter or yearly, and in return is to help kind of keep you investing and supporting the company long term. Usually, if the company keeps paying the dividend, they increase it over the years, and the longer they've gone without cutting or reducing this dividend, the more reliable the company is usually considered. Here's a picture of some of the top dividend companies right now. You're probably familiar with most of these. They're very well-established companies that you see every day. There's Coca-Cola, 3M, Johnson & Johnson. These companies have been around for a while and they're probably not going anywhere anytime soon. There's also another form of dividend investing or dividend paying companies, which is a REIT, which stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. These are companies or trusts or whatever you want to call it that invest in real estate, and they're legally required to return a much higher percentage back of their income to the shareholders, typically yielding like 8 to 12% dividends. They're really popular amongst the dividend investing world. The second question is, why should you invest in dividend stocks? You should invest in dividend paying companies if you're looking to generate cash flow as soon as possible. Each month or quarter, you'll receive dividends that you can choose to either just cash and keep in your bank account, spend it on what you want, or what I like to suggest is you reinvest that into the shares and have it buy back each time you receive a dividend. You can have it reinvested in the company. This is called DRIP, Dividend Reinvestment Plan. This is a super helpful way to build wealth because you're pretty much just investing on your own without having to put in the effort. I have all my investments turned on to where they just reinvest any dividends I receive. And over a couple of years, this can generate a lot of wealth and a really big cash flow. You can usually hear about this called the dividend snowball. It's kind of like the longer that you invest, just it exponentially grows and grows because it's reinvesting on itself over and over. The drawback you may hear with dividend investing is that typically these investments don't offer as high growth year over year as things like tech stocks would. But it all comes down to your preference. There's no set rule. You don't have to invest only in growth or only in dividends. I personally invest in both because I like the idea of both. However, I plan to retire in less than 10 years from now. So I really like to invest in dividends so that I can generate cash flow that will replace my paycheck once I stop working a day job. So the final question, and probably the one you've all been waiting for, is what dividend stocks should you invest in? Like I mentioned earlier, there's very solid companies like Coca-Cola and 3M that pay dividends and they've been around forever. They're probably not going anywhere anytime soon. However, I tend to suggest and invest myself in ETFs and index funds. If you don't know what these are, it's essentially buying a basket that's full of shares instead of buying one single share at a time. This basket offers diversification and safety because if one company was to go bankrupt and all your money was there, you're kind of screwed. But by owning this basket, when that company goes bankrupt, it's just replaced by a better dividend paying stock. They're really good investments for the long run. Some ETFs and index funds that I would suggest you invest in are SCHD, JEPI, JEPQ, DIVO, and BST. Of course, there's tons of other ones and you can definitely do your research. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just what I do. I'm just a guy who's talking about it on YouTube. So I suggest you do your research before you invest in it. But maybe you're ready to start investing in dividend paying stocks and you can retire before your coworkers. I hope that this video answered a few of the questions you may have. And if you have any other questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll try and get back to you or make a video about it. Until next time, let's keep this fire spreading.